Hey everybody, I'm David Geisler, host of the Technophiles podcast, and I'm here.
TC.
I'm here with Mr. TC Witt.
TC Witt here from the Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios podcast.
Indeed. Now, TC,
like,
you're getting some confidence now in these videos.
I was just gonna say, I love throwing Jeff off. Like, if you listen to it, so for those of you who might not be familiar, I'm from the Disney Animation Studios podcast that I do over at Top Shelf with Jeff Bell, the creator of the series. And we watch a Disney animated film a week, which is what is associated with the gameplay that we're doing.
Absolutely.
But he has this like written down intro. Well, he doesn't even write it down. He's been doing this show for like 5 years, and it's always greetings or hello internet dwellers. This is Jeff Bell, and I always like
jump in there,
throw a curveball at him just to throw him off.
I've noticed that actually. I was always wondering if it was like oh, their Skype must be out of sync.
Nah, I like to mess with Jeff.
No, that's just TC messing around. Well, okay, so yeah, at this point, I mean, this might be the first video you're watching, but this is the third one that we're recording. Mm-hmm. We're doing a series of 6 Disney films. TC, if this is the first video people are watching, I'll just explain real quick. Technophiles is we're in our summer break right now, and I recorded a Let's Play with one of our cast members, Drew. It was tons of fun. You and I had a different project. I said, hey, I have some time to kill. I love your show, Top Shelf Disney.
Thank you.
Want to do like a weird little crossover video series, at least for YouTube. Could we Let's Play some Disney games?
Yeah.
And you were in for it. So
this is our third.
We went back and forth on what games to play. There was a couple that I wanted to do, but they weren't like Disney films. They weren't they weren't a film that maybe you guys would talk about on your show.
Right.
So we ended up choosing films that you are talking about on your show. And in fact, a little behind the curtain here, we're right now going to play a game that you and Jeff have not yet discussed.
Yes, we're in the future.
We're in the future. I suspect that this episode will come out around the time of your real episode, but for now, we are playing The Little Mermaid for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
The NES. Yeah.
We just got done playing Pinocchio
and Jungle Book.
Both for the Super Nintendo, both coming out a couple years. Well, actually, believe it or not, Little Mermaid is like 93 or some weird thing. Let me check my notes as we play.
Okay.
But it actually came out late on the NES and on the NES.
No, you call it NES. It's fine.
But it's the first game we're playing tonight made by Capcom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Capcom has famously done some quite nice Disney games. The Aladdin Super Nintendo game is usually revered and thought of to be a very, very high quality.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be playing that later on in this series. And that's an interesting story because a different company, in fact, it might have been Virgin, did the Sega Genesis Aladdin. And we'll talk about that on that video.
2 completely different companies.
2 different companies, and we'll save it. So right now we're going to do Little Mermaid. Why don't I get the recorder going and we'll keep talking, okay?
Cool.
All right, give me a second here. Thank you very much. I'm going to check my notes as we go. So I've played this game many, many times. I actually love this game. Another weird story, I played the Game Boy version first.
Oh, and then you came over.
And then I later found the NES cartridge. So, but you're playing right now. You've got the controller in your hand. Have you played this before?
I have. I mentioned in the last episode that there was a Christmas where we got 3 games. My brother, my sister, and I. My older sister, I don't think she got a game out of the. Oh no, she did. She got Spots. Remember 7-Up?
You mean Cool Spot?
Cool. Yeah.
Dude, no. Hey, wait. There's a connection there. That's the same guys that did Earthworm Jim.
Really?
And the Jungle Book.
Oh, well, how do you like that? So, so this was my sister's game. She got. Here we go. Cool. Because you swim faster with the shell.
Yep. You use the shell to break the. Well, you know all this.
Oh!
And then you miss the treasure chest with the shell. Is what you do. You can't upgrade your bubbles. You can't upgrade your bubbles.
So this is
TC there. Double hits with the tiny bubbles.
The
shell came back. Use it.
This was the game Lindsay got, my little sister, and I beat it before she did. She was so mad. Bloom. Yeah. And just because. Let's see if there's anything in the. There was.
It usually is something. There's a fork coming up in a bit. This game was great. Capcom made this in 1991, according to my notes. So actually, that was a couple years before The Jungle Book, which was a different company, like I said.
I'll destroy you, octopi.
Do it. No, save it.
Oh, God. Oh. Well,
Wow.
trade off. You
Octopi
want to jump
bullet
in?
to the face. Sure, yeah. Now, interestingly enough, the Game Boy version of this game came out a couple years later. That actually came out in '93. It took them a while to release it. Don't know why. That was coming out for the Game Boy around the time Jungle Book was also.
Am I remembering correctly that if you die, there's no save points? You have to go back to the beginning of the level?
So this game's good, but it is hard in that classic way.
That classic Nintendo no save point situation, like Mario.
Right. Yeah. But all things considered, the mechanics of this game are good. You have a bubble mechanic. You're upgrading that thing.
Yeah.
There's a run button. You can swim faster by holding down B.
This was right in that pocket, that sweet spot of Nintendo games where it was hard, but you can get a sense of achievement in getting better.
Yeah.
Because it's not so impossible that you can't figure out the patterns, which is what all these old games are.
That's really what it is.
A series of patterns.
Because there wasn't really artificial intelligence was just a pattern. It wasn't
yeah.
AI for the bad guys and stuff. You could say.
Yeah, and this was one of those games where it's like you learn the tricks, you figure it out, you get further and further in the game, and it's not one of those games that has an impossible level. It isn't unforgiving, because there are some games that are unforgivable with their patterns and you're not getting past this level.
So yeah, and we spoke about this for a split second on the other video for Jungle Book. There was a moment in the late 90s, where Disney, for the Super Nintendo at least, they were doing things where, I think I'm coming up on the shark here, by the way.
Here's the boss battle.
Just a minute, I'm going to focus.
So Disney didn't want people renting their games.
Yep.
The idea of renting, we spoke on this.
It was controversial. Even Nintendo didn't like it.
Our Rescuers episode of Top Shelf, we actually discussed the advent of home video rental
I'm not doing
technology.
So great.
And the home video rental era kind of coincides with what happened with video games, in that if you rented a game and were able to beat it, you wouldn't rent it again, unless it was a really darn good game. So making games frickin' impossible meant you had to buy it, because you couldn't keep it for a
You're
couple
absolutely
months.
right. So there was the Lion King is famous. The Just Can't Wait to Be King level is famously impossible. The whole monkey puzzle was actually added in after the fact to make it harder. I understand.
Yeah.
So this game's great though. This is Capcom. They were minding their own business. This might be one of the first film Disney games, certainly for the Nintendo.
Interestingly, we were talking earlier about in the previous episode, we were talking about the video game tie-ins to movies tend to kind of be crap.
Right.
This is just a good game.
It's not bad, even though I'm dying right now. Here, give it a try. See if you get the shark.
Oh no, we didn't start back at the beginning.
Well, there was a little save point, wasn't there?
Freaking good start, TC.
So I can usually get up 4 or 5 levels into this on this one. I can get into the ship where you're hopping around up on top and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
But as I was saying, this is a good game. Oh, I did it again. And so the fact that it's a tie-in is arbitrary, right?
So I feel like that's the Capcom element.
Yeah,
they might have.
It's not trying to. Oh, I didn't upgrade my.
Oh, that's what you lose. You lose your upgrades.
Come here.
So Drew and we were playing Jaws, the Jaws Nintendo game, and I couldn't help but think about this part of Little Mermaid when we were playing that on our other Let's Play.
Oh!
You might be able to throw those bubbles up.
I was trying.
Oh, we got to continue. We've only been playing for 5 minutes. Should we keep going?
Yeah, let's try again. So you guys were playing. Look how short that level is now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Good. It's still good. It's still good. I like this game.
So I remember the first time I played this, my cousin had it first. My uncle got it from my cousin, and she was a girl, and so it seemed like, I think that's where that was coming from. I was like, oh, it's a game for girls, but it really isn't. It's just the Little Mermaid thing.
It just happens to be a Disney princess. Yeah.
I remember the idea that I was moving through this level, and I could just push the direction I wanted to swim. That I wasn't jumping like Mario. Blew my mind. It was like it was such a different game mechanic
What's
for
happening here?
A 7-year-old David.
Yeah.
That it took me a while to get used to. Obviously, later on, that's like Echo the Dolphin would do that kind of stuff, and there's even a not Super Nintendo. There is a Game Boy Advance sequel to this, actually.
Really? Is it based on the sequel movie,
Similar.
which we do not watch on Top Shelf? Those darn sequels don't count.
Yeah. Maybe I can get it.
Oh,
Whoa, kinda worked
hey,
anyway.
all right.
Can I get that thing
deliberate,
to respawn?
Deliberate. You'll respawn though.
I can't go back.
Maybe if you go all the way up and come back down.
Yeah, you might be right. Let me try.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I almost don't remember. Oh, the sequels. Yeah. We were talking about how Rescuers. You guys just finished talking about Rescuers Down Under, and octopus ink to the face there. Rescuers Down Under is coming up in your queue. and I think it's the first sequel in
Yes.
like the classic line of Disney movies.
Now, there are plenty of Disney sequels that go straight to DVD. There's even a couple that were released to cinemas, such as the Jungle Book sequel.
That went to cinemas.
And Return to Neverland was also another one. Oh god! But they weren't the Disney Animation Studios release. They were released under Toon Boom, or Disney does have another Disney animation label that isn't part of their canonical library.
So when you and Jeff were talking about doing these 50 or so movies, how did that conversation start? I think you mentioned that he had finished up one podcast with the AFI stuff, was kind of interested in doing another thing. Did you and him just have lunch one day and say, let's do Disney, or how'd that work?
Well, I pitched it to him. I have watched the entire library once before, and I just
as a study?
Just as a study, yeah. I had seen Tangled, and those listening now to this episode of Technophiles here is going to hear this story again when we get to Tangled. That's the 50th Disney Animation Studio release.
Wow.
It opens with a special... can I throw? I can't throw.
No throwing up? Okay.
A special...
No throwing up, Ariel.
It opens with... Maybe I just did it wrong. A 50th number. Like it says Disney Animation Studios Library. Number 50. When I saw that, I was like, there's 50 of these? Have I seen all of them?
Wow.
So I decided...
there it is.
I decided to seek out all 50, which was harder than you would think, because some of these movies have never had home releases.
Right. Boom. So when you and Jeff have to watch these films, are you finding them on digital release? How do you do it?
I own every copy. When Tangled came out, I went out of my way to find every single one of them as actual DVDs. Some of them I have on Blu-ray now. Oh,
I've noticed that a couple times on your show, you and Jeff will watch slightly different versions of one of the film just by accident. This is the Blu-ray one, or this is the...
And there will be slight iterations in the movies. We will actually face our first specifically a significant difference in films when we get to Lion King. No, I'm sorry, Beauty and the Beast.
Because of the extra scene
They added
stuff?
an extra song into it, and up to that point, the additional stuff that...
Maybe start...
Oh, we
Sunken
gonna keep going?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we got like 30 seconds. I want to keep hearing about the show, actually. So how do you guys? I mean, a little inside baseball here behind the curtain. How do you plan to deal with modified movies like Lion King and Beauty and the Beast, where they add a scene?
I actually hope that in that case that I'll watch something different from Jeff so that we can discuss it. But either way, we will discuss the version itself, because that changes a film. When you go back to look at any of the George Lucas stuff from the prequels,
right?
It changes a movie when you do that.
Yeah.
And I have my feelings about the additional songs in some of the movies, and I'm sure Jeff will as well. Oh, I could open it that way. Cool.
Yep.
I have super...
There's like two more barrel puzzles coming up here. Like you use the barrel up above to knock this thing. You see that? Oh. So don't push it left. Can you get through it?
I can't.
Oh, wait. Maybe do push this one left and push the other one right, I think. Sorry, I'm totally bossing you around. Maybe push that, yeah.
Hey, take that, fish.
Fish and barrels.
You're my friend. Oh, get out of here.
Whoa! Look at the physics engine in this game. It's just like Breath of the Wild.
It's just gee, I was just about to say, is this too easy now?
You can jump up there somehow. And it's kind of funny. She just flaps.
Blip,
yep.
Blip. So I have to jump. I have to actually
knock it down, and then you pick it up, and then I think you jump out of the water and throw it at it or something. Oh, there you go. Angled shots.
Oh, you know what? I think my bubbles are gonna be red now.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if I'm right.
So we know this game. You and I, because you did play it.
Look at that! Look at how well I remember this game. I have not played this game in years.
Did you almost say weeks?
No. I played before you came. Oh, I'm so ashamed.
Unbelievable. Well, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, do the outro.
Yeah, so the Top Shelf podcast network.
Oh, remember this?
Oh, yeah. You can find on Ghost Hat, And you can find us on Facebook, like I said. You can also tweet at me at TC's Big Head or Jeff at Random Bell. But what's next? What's next? This is fun.
So now we're getting really into the meat here because so Pinocchio and Jungle Book, those were games that came out not with the release of their movie.
Right. I don't think there were too many video games in 1930s.
Exactly. So
Or the
Little
60s,
Mermaid
60s.
loosely came out around the time of the film, but now we're going to get into a space where Aladdin, Lion King, and there's another one in there. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, these are tie-ins to
Coming out when the movie comes out. The idea is that it's part of the campaign. And so the next one that we're going to play here, I think, is Aladdin. Let me look at the spreadsheet.
You look at the spreadsheet.
You're still going.
People don't want to look at a
Beauty and the
continuous
Beast.
end screen.
Oh my gosh, we're doing Beauty and the Beast next, and TC, I have an adventure in store for you.
Oh boy. Okay.
If Jeff Bell did not like the Jungle Book and you did, and he clearly loves Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah. Okay.
I have a game that may challenge his love for the Beauty and the Beast franchise.
Okay. Let's do it.
Does that sound
Do
good?
that little flashy thing.
In fact, I might have 3 games that challenge his love for Beauty and the Beast.
Oh no. Oh no.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get
everybody.
out of here. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you. I'm David Geisler from Technophiles Podcast. You know that already. Click to the left if you want to see some of our other Technophiles videos. Normally, this is a technology podcast, even though we're kind of hanging out playing games today. And if you want to see the Beauty and the Beast episode, click to the little thing on the right.
Yeah, I'll see you in a little bit, guys.
Everybody.